My name is Paul Wallace. I'm the Head of Operations for Keep Scotland Beautiful. And it's my job today to chair this national conversation. I'm delighted to be able to do that. And I'm also delighted to be able to welcome you to our third national conversation. Keep Scotland Beautiful is your charity inspiring action for your environment. As I'm sure many of you are aware, we have four main objectives: combating climate change, tackling litter and waste, restoring nature and biodiversity, and improving places. You may well know us for our big campaigns like Spring Clean and Beautiful Scotland, or for our education programme Eco Schools. But many of you may not know that we've been working on heritage projects for more than 5 years through our place-based programmes. Alongside local environmental quality, heritage is a key element of placemaking and in supporting communities to get involved and take action locally on the things that mean the most to them. Our two national conversations on climate action in sport and litter can be watched on our website. And if you haven't seen them, I'd encourage you to have a look at them. They were very inspiring and very informative. Today, our conversation will focus on heritage and place. I'm delighted today that we've been joined by a wide range of people we work with who can really demonstrate broad interest in exploring and celebrating our heritage. We will showcase the work of Keep Scotland Beautiful's Our Heritage, Our Future project, considering how communities can actively engage with local heritage using place planning techniques, community-focused heritage training, and school engagement. This project is made possible with funding from Historic Environment Scotland and the National Lottery Heritage Fund, with thanks to National Lottery players. For this event today, we're using the hashtag KSB Heritage, and we would be delighted if you could please share your attendance at the event today on your social media. Communities are at the heart of everything we do at KSB, and over the past year, we've worked with groups across Scotland to inspire action to protect and celebrate heritage, which they identified locally as being important to them. We've worked with children and young people to kickstart their journey of exploring what heritage means to them, and we've delivered training to support people to learn more about carrying out research and sharing their stories with wider audiences. As an environmental charity, we've encouraged communities to learn more about the risks and impacts of climate change on heritage, and to identify how we can all take steps to mitigate and adapt in order to protect the places we care about and our local heritage. I'm very pleased today to be able to introduce our four panellists, and I'm delighted that they bring such a range of perspectives to today's discussion. Our panellists are Ginny Sharp, a Senior Environmental Assessment and Advice Officer at Historic Environment Scotland; Rachel Sedman, a Development Manager for the Fountainbridge Canalside Community Trust in Edinburgh; Martin Yeoman, a Guided Tour Leader from the Highlands; and Liam Mason, an Eco School Coordinator from Falkirk High School. I'm sure you'll find all of their contributions really interesting and informative, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from them myself later on. The speakers will all join us for a Q&A session at the end of the event, and again, I would encourage you to use the chat function to submit any questions that occur to you as the panellists speak. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can today, but we may combine questions covering similar themes. And as this discussion is on heritage and place, please make sure your questions are pertinent to the theme. If we aren't able to get through all the questions today, we'll also provide our email address via the chat so you can get in touch after the event. And Heather will put that in the chat so people can pick that up. So that's enough from me, and without further ado, we're going to hear from our first speaker, Ginny Sharp. Ginny has worked for Historic Environment Scotland and its predecessor body for 22 years. She's a Senior Environmental Assessment and Advice Officer involved in a diverse range of work, including development planning, strategic environmental assessment and policy advice. She had a keen interest in the connections between wellbeing, good placemaking and the historic environment. I'm going to hand over now to Ginny. Over to you, Ginny.
Thank you. It's great. We're really pleased that, to have been invited along today to talk to you all about what we think is a really exciting new tool that we've been developing called the Your Historic Place Lens, which supports the use of the Place Standard tool. So today I'm going to start by putting the lens in context by giving a brief introduction to the Place Standard tool itself. I'll then introduce Your Historic Place lens and tell you a bit more about that. And then I'll finish up by letting you know a bit more about how you might want to get involved or how you can find out more. So I'm aware that some of you might already be familiar with the Place Standard tool, but just a quick kind of run through it for those that don't. It's a brilliant but simple tool which helps people structure conversations about place, and it can help people think about both the physical and the social aspects of place and the relationship between them. It can help people identify the strengths of an area, identify places where enhancement or positive change can be made. And it doesn't matter whether the place is well established or undergoing change or still being planned, the tool can help with that. Since it was launched in December 2015, the Place Standard tool has been used really widely across Scotland and also internationally, and has received recognition from the World Health Organization, and it's really gone from strength to strength, and we've been pleased to be kind of part of watching that grow. It can be used in a wide variety of situations. It can be used online or in person, and is free to access for everybody. So the tool itself provides a simple framework for conversations about place, and it's based around 14 topics. I won't read all of them out to you just now, but some of them are moving around, streets and spaces, the natural space, work and local economy. So it covers all aspects of a place. And it provides prompts to help people really get into discussions. It can also allow people to score their place. So you end up with an output that is both sort of quantitative and qualitative, but really it's the conversations it triggers that are really valuable. Over the last few years, there have always also been some topic-specific lenses that were launched for the Place Standard tool. And these focus on climate and air quality, and they give people an opportunity to really look more closely at their place through those particular lenses. And they've been really successful. And following on from the success of those, at Historic Environment Scotland, we saw a really good opportunity, valuable opportunity, to develop a lens that focused on the historic environment and really gave people a resource of getting going with those conversations, even for people that aren't used to talking about heritage or the historic environment at all, and really kind of get into what makes their place special, what are the historic elements of it that they might not even be thinking of as historic because they're busy being other places, shops, streets, public spaces, and really look at that through a kind of a different perspective. So working with support from the Place Standard team, we developed our version of a place of a lens for the Place Standard tool, which we've called the Your Historic Place lens. And we recently launched that a few months back, and it's a pilot version at the moment. So we're really keen to get people's feedback. The Your Historic Place lens uses the same themes as the Place Standard tool, so they can be they can integrate really nicely. The lens introduces each theme with a short exploration of its connections to the historic environment, and then it gives additional conversational prompts. And these hopefully are really great for inspiring discussion, helping participants to think about their historic place, how they use it, what effect it has on their day-to-day lives, what could be better, how they might be able to use it better. So it's designed to really help people think about their areas, buildings and places and spaces, and how do those elements shape the place that it is today, and how can they help it be a successful place for the future. As I say, we're currently running a pilot scheme. We're coming towards the end of that, but it's possible we might extend that a little bit. And we've been asking people who are undertaking projects that think they might be able to use the Your Historic Place lens to give it a try and just let us know what we think. It's a very informal pilot, and we've just sort of opened the doors for anybody to kind of take a look and give it a go. So we'll use the feedback from that to inform and refine the final version. It's important to say it's open to everybody. You can use it really however you want. It's free to use, as is the place standard tool itself. So I guess that comes to maybe some of you listening here today. If you are particularly interested in trying the lens out, then we would love you to have a go. At the end, once I've finished speaking, I'll drop some links into the chat, which will link to some information about the place standard tool in general, and then a link to the Your Historic Place lens particularly, and that also has the page for that also has a lot more information about how you can get involved in the pilot. And we would really love to hear from you if you think you would like to give it a try, and also what you think of it. Even if you don't have a project that you want to apply to just now, if you want to take a look and then give us some feedback, that would be really valuable, and we would really appreciate that. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, but very happy to, if folk want to get in touch with me afterwards and ask any more about it, or if you go onto the Your Historic Place lens page, there's also frequently asked questions, which should be helpful too. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ginny. Really interesting, and I think it's quite interesting to hear how you've developed the tool and applied it in a historic setting. Keep Scotland Beautiful has been involved with the place standard for a number of years, so it's interesting to hear it's how evolving in different settings. And we'll certainly be having a look at it online as well. Going to move on now to our next speaker, Rachel Sedman. As we said earlier on, she's a development manager for Fountainbridge Canalside Community Trust and has worked in the voluntary sector for almost 20 years. Starting in events and fundraising and progressing to project development and project management. The charities and organisations she's worked with have varied widely, and she's also worked with a range of organisations across Europe and beyond. Common thread across all of her work has been creating projects that provide opportunities for people, regardless of their background and circumstances. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Rachel. Rachel, over to you.
Thanks very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Rachel. I work for the Fountainbridge Canalside Community Trust. We are quite a new organisation, although we were built on two organisations that have been operating a long time. That was Reunion Canal Boats, which is a social enterprise running canal boats on the Union Canal. And we also merged with another organisation, which was a community voice organisation of activists around the Fountainbridge area. So in terms of the historic, the place lens with a heritage focus, obviously we're quite well primed because our activities all focus around the canal, the Union Canal in Edinburgh this is, which is a scheduled monument. So we have been working with Keep Scotland Beautiful over the past, I think it's nearly a year actually, to do various activities and just pilot basically as many things as we could think of, I think, to do with different sectors of the community and different activities. We I would say we wanted to really do community consultation without making it community consultation where people just sit and fill in forms or say things that they don't know where they go to, where things go to. So we were quite focused on providing activities that were sort of activities in their own right, and then using a lot of the information that we got from these activities to help inform the place plan. And I think the full title is Climate and Heritage Community Action Plan that Lisa and Heather and others at Keep Scotland Beautiful are helping us put together. So this included quite a few things. I guess the one that's closest to actually just filling in the place standard tool with the heritage lens questions was where we started, and we did a series of discovery walks, which is what we called them, so that we were inviting members of the community to walk around local places and to really look in a new way at different buildings and green spaces and aspects of our community that they see all the time, but they wouldn't necessarily stop and look at. And that was actually, it was really informative. And we had, alongside that, we had things going on online, so people could contribute that way. We then moved on to various things like sorting sessions, which was more the climate action sort of part of the actions that we were trying to work out what the community supported. We had some great activities at our AGM as well. I think there was a quiz going on in there and various other things. We ran canal conversations, which we were lucky we've got a boat, so we managed to go on a boat, and members of the KSB team facilitated conversations on that boat, and they also invited a minister, which was great to meet her as well. This year we've also done various activities at the Edinburgh Canal Festival, which is a big community doors open day that we organise. We were invited into Boroughmuir High School to an S3 sort of climate event, and lastly we also run a couple of we've started running sort of networking events for various community organisations in our local area, which we call cross-pollination events, because we stole that idea from someone else. And we've done one before about community events and things, but we did one specifically on climate actions, and how we could all work together, what people were doing at that point, and what things that we would aspire to do, and how we could actually, some of them we could actually achieve through very easily by working together. Some of it which might take a little bit longer. And the other thing, that while we were still creating this plan, we also did quite a big application to the National Lottery Heritage Fund, and it was great to be able to put into that we were working on this plan. And so luckily we were successful in that, and so we have various activities in years sort of 2 and 3 of the National Lottery Heritage Fund project that we have, and we can draw directly from the consultation we've done around these local place plan and the heritage activities that have come out of that. It's going to be easy for us to find things in there that relate to what we've got funding to do as well already. So I think that's possibly a whistle-stop tour of what we've been up to. We're not finished yet, and even when we get to a final plan that Keep Scotland Beautiful are helping us with, it's still got a working document, and we're going to change it and keep it live and keep sort of moving on with different actions. And yeah, we'll see where that takes us. But I hope that's given you a little bit of an idea about what things happened in practice. I guess it's very flexible, and we've tried lots of different things. So we're very happy to share. I think some things worked in our community that would not work in other communities, and likewise some things we did maybe didn't work in our community, but they would work in others. But Keep Scotland Beautiful have got all the actions on that and know what's what. So thanks very much, and happy to take questions later or another time.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Again, another interesting overview of all the work that the Trust are doing, and I would just like to pass on our thanks from KSB and from Katie and the team for all the work you and your colleagues have done in helping us to develop the Community Heritage Climate Action Plan model, which we are hoping to use with communities across the country. And certainly if anybody's interested in that, I would encourage them to look at the work that Rachel and her team have done in Edinburgh, but also to get in touch with Katie O'Donnell and Heather Ashworth from the team here at KSB to discuss it further. Okay, we're going to move now on to our next speaker. We're now joined by Martin Yeoman, a guided tour leader. Martin lives near Lairg in Sutherland. He's a Paths for All walk leader, and he enrolled in our guided tour online training so he could add value to his local walks. Learn how to carry out historical research to create more interesting activity, and overall he enjoys sharing his knowledge with others and getting people out to keep them active. We look forward to hearing from you, Martin, and your experience with the training and what you've been doing up in Lairg. Thank you.
Yeah, great, thanks. Yeah, so I say I'm Martin, and I live in Lairg in Sutherland, and one day scrolling through Facebook as you do, I noticed KSB in association with the Laird Learning Centre were doing this new course called Guided Tours. It resulted in an SVQ, which is great. So I signed up for it, and the course content was a kind of online or an in-person course over kind of 4 weeks. And Lisa and her team were brilliant. They provided all the material. They were enthusiastic, knowledgeable, no daft questions. They went out their way to help you, and it was really, really good. Again, they highlighted the various bits from like Historic Scotland where you can go to find all this great resources to help you with your walks and plot your routes and different things. And I just didn't appreciate there was so much free resource, out there. And again, I encourage people to go and look for that. My guided walk was around a place called Rosehall House, which again is quite near Lairg, and some of you may know, some of you may not know, but it's now a derelict house, but it was once inhabited by like the Duke of Sutherland, and he had his mistress, if we're allowed to say things like that these days, somebody called Coco Chanel visited there. Winston Churchill also visited there. And I say I do these guided tours or do Pass for All, the charity. I take community people out, encouraging locals to get out, exercise, keep fit and healthy. And it's a kind of walk and talk. And when I saw this, I thought, this is great because I can go away, learn something myself and pass on that knowledge to other people. And I just kind of love sharing that. And since I've completed the course, I've now been researching other things round about. I mean, Carbisdale Castle is one of the ones that I'm researching at the moment, and again we're planning to take people walking there. And then there's a few other bits round about that I'm going to over the winter kind of do that, and then hopefully put just a wee flyer around the area and the local papers to get interest, and hopefully we'll get people out to come and see it. And it's just it gives me a bit more knowledge, share that knowledge on with people, but encourage them to get out and about and learn new things. And that's what it's all about, So if the course ever comes up, I would definitely recommend anybody do it. I say Lisa and the team are brilliant. The resources there are superb. And, I just thank them for giving me the opportunity to do it and for giving me an SVQ. And that's me.
Thank you, Martin, and thanks for that overview. Wonderful to hear about all the new heritage links that you're creating. And how you've been able to bring the lessons that you learned from the training into your day-to-day activity in terms of engaging people more in the work that you're doing. Going to move on to our next speaker. We're going to hear from Liam Mason. Liam is the Eco Coordinator at Falkirk High School. Falkirk High School was awarded their Green Flag for Eco Schools in April 2023. And the school has been working hard to become more sustainable over the last few years, starting with the creation of an Eco Committee, the Falkirk High School Eco Changemakers. This group of young people and teachers have been involved in various projects within the school and worked with many local and national partners. And we've been working with them on the development of a new heritage topic for eco schools through our Heritage, Our Future project. Over to you, Liam.
Thanks very much. My name's Liam Mason, teacher at Falkirk High School, but as was mentioned earlier,
I think we may have a technical issue. We seem to have lost Liam at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on. If we can get Liam back, we'll bring him back in. He may just have fallen off the call. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to suggest that we show the video now if Suzanne or Kieran could do that. And what we'll do is after we've seen the video, we'll bring Liam back in and give him an opportunity to update us on the work of the team at Falkirk High School. So if we could hopefully get that organised, I'm looking to my colleagues to see if we can do that technically. And in the interim, can I encourage you to continue to pop questions in the chat? I should have put, oh, Liam is back with us. We'll kill the video and bring you back in, Liam. Or not.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you fine, Liam. I think it may just be your camera that's cutting out. If you want to,
I can't hear what you're saying there, Paul, but if you can hear me, you can give me a thumbs up and I can keep talking. Yeah, okay.
Over to you. Sorry,
guys. I don't know what the technical issue was there. I'm in a school right now, so there might be bits and pieces that don't work out there, so apologies for that there. But as I was saying, my name's Liam Mason. I'm a geography teacher at Falkirk High School, and my kind of main other remit, I suppose, over the last few years has been looking at sustainability and trying to encourage pupils to get involved in sustainability and kind of direct the things that they want to do. And a big focus of that has kind of been working with the Eco Schools team and looking to gain our Green Flag Award, which we were successful in gaining in April 2023, as Paul mentioned. The big thing that I wanted to kind of talk about today, and I was asked to come and speak about, was the work we've done with the heritage topic and how we've used that to kind of maintain our green flag. And that's something that we've been working on kind of over the last kind of year or so with Helena, Annie and the team at Eco Schools and Keep Scotland Beautiful. So it's been a really great journey for us. When we first talked about looking at heritage and linking it with sustainability, the pupils themselves probably couldn't see the link that was there, but over the course of the journey they really have kind of grasped the opportunity and worked really well with the team to kind of come up with an action plan that's had a real impact, both on a personal level to them, but definitely in a kind of wider context to the full school as well. So as mentioned earlier, the Eco Committee are kind of a group of both pupils and staff, and they work in kind of various different projects. When we created our heritage topic plan, I suppose, for the year, the first big thing that we thought about doing was a kind of a celebration of local heritage and Scottish heritage, I suppose. And we're obviously living in Falkirk, which has loads of rich history, I suppose. The pupils come up with a kind of plan to run an after school kind of engagement event where they put on different Scottish like snacks and drinks. They had a Scottish related quiz and they engaged in different conversations at that point about kind of Falkirk's heritage and Scottish heritage in general. And it was a really successful event. We had staff members from across the school attending that. We had various pupils that attended that as well. And it was just a really successful event, and it kind of got the conversation about heritage and the links to sustainability kind of started within the school community, and started to, when we seen the impact and the engagement there, the pupils themselves really kind of got a bit more encouragement and kind of wanted to do more in terms of heritage and making that link to sustainability. So following that, a kind of calendar of events was planned to celebrate Falkirk's heritage, and with that we did things for St Andrew's Days, we did things for Burnt Supper, kind of standard things you do throughout the year, but we put a real focus on it and tried to kind of bring a Falkirk spin on that, if you like. And it was all kind of centred around fun and about having conversations. I think that's the kind of key message that we want to put across there as well, and to try and kind of shift the culture in the school to have an appreciation that heritage and sustainability can kind of go side by side. Loads of plans that we've got kind of going forward as well, which I could talk about in a wee minute or so. What I was going to say is I was going to talk about the impact that the pupils had at like a whole school level and an individual level. I could tell you the stuff that I spoke to them about, but I asked them to, as a group, we met the other day, and asked them to come up with a kind of overview of how they think that the engaging in the heritage topic has benefited the school. So firstly, at whole school level, the pupils mentioned that the project has made a difference to our school. It's brought different people together, building a stronger sense of community and pride in our shared heritage. It's also boosted school spirit and helped us work together towards a common goal. By combining sustainability with our local history, we've made learning more diverse and meaningful for pupils in the school. It's not only about kind of reading textbooks. We can do different events to kind of enhance our relation between sustainability and heritage there. There's lots more there for the whole school level, but I'll leave it at that. In terms of impact individually, the amount of skills that the pupils developed, planning, researching, project managing the different events that we ran was huge. And it's, again, this is a cross year group body. We've got representatives from S1 all the way to S6, so it's the amount of skills that they managed to develop throughout this project was great. And again, the support that we had from KSB and from Eco Schools throughout the whole kind of process was really good. There was times where we had some ideas, and they were able to be kind of moulded and shaped by obviously staff members, but also the team and the team at KSB as well. So again, really grateful for that. Moving forward, the pupils themselves have loads of kind of new ideas that they want to kind of run with. One idea that was mentioned again when we met the other day was about going on like local walks with members of the school community or members of the local community, and talking about and having conversations about our heritage and kind of encouraging sustainability at the same time. We've got an active schools coordinator that's just been appointed to the school, and she's going to be working closely with our eco committee, our changemaker group, to kind of develop these plans. And that's something that's really exciting for the school, but also really exciting for the young people that are kind of leading this project. So just to kind of summarise, I suppose, I think working on the heritage project was something that when we first mentioned it, the pupils were a bit kind of hesitant about it and weren't really sure how it was going to go. But now that we've actually engaged in it and like completed a kind of first cycle of it, if you like, it's one of those topics that we wouldn't want to drop now. It's something that we're really passionate about as a school community, and we look forward to kind of developing further as we continue to kind of maintain our green flag. I think that's all. Hopefully everyone managed to hear that okay, and I'm happy to take any questions again towards the end if there is any. Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much, Liam, and I'm glad that we managed to get your contribution. It was really interesting and good to hear about all the work that you've been doing with the children and your colleagues in the school. Also supporting the new Heritage Eco School topic, we did some work in an early years setting at Cumbernauld Village Family Learning Centre, Ashton Secondary in Glasgow, and at St Patrick's Primary School in Coatbridge. We're delighted now to be able to show you a short video created by the pupils at St Patrick's Primary of their experience of piloting the heritage topic with us. Having recently achieved their Eco Schools Scotland Green Flag, they were really keen to explore how to integrate heritage with their other environmental learning. And the video is about 2.5 minutes long, so we'll watch the video and then we'll move on to the next part of the event.
Hello, I'm Josh from Keep Scotland Beautiful. We've been working hard with schools in Scotland to create a brand new Eco Schools topic called Heritage. This topic gives you and your school community a chance to discover more about the people, places and stories that make us who we are, and to explore heritage inside and outside the classroom. This video will give you a taste of how much St Patrick's Primary in Coatbridge enjoyed working on the heritage topic and why they think you should choose it too.
I liked when we went outside and then we were looking at what the heritage stuff was. And when we were sitting at the table one week and there was a big box and we placed it down and we looked at all the belongings of one person. It was really interesting to see how well it still worked.
Our heritage is a really important part of who we are, but it is at risk from climate change. With extreme summer heat, even in Scotland, and warm or extremely cold winters, our historic sites, houses, landmarks and green spaces, like forests, are being damaged and washed away. It is even impacting on our intangible heritage, that's our stories, knowledge and traditions. For example, curling used to be played on frozen ponds throughout Scotland, but this tradition is now rarely seen outdoors. We have created this new Eco Schools topic to highlight these issues to young people and their local communities so they can see the threats to their cultural heritage and look at ways they can research, celebrate and take steps to protect their heritage.
Because it's exciting to see all the new recipes, like different places all over the world.
What is a meal that you had when you were younger that you still have now, and is it a family recipe?
My mum's stew. Yes, absolutely, it's a family recipe, and yes, I still sometimes make it for my kids too.
Heritage can be anything, and I really enjoyed it because we got to look at where people were from, like staff and children, and really involve everyone within the school.
I'd say it's really interesting to learn because we discover new things.
Yeah, I found it very interesting.
So fun.
As you can see, St Patrick's had a brilliant time exploring the heritage of their school community. To find out more, you can visit the heritage topic page on the Eco Schools website, where you'll find lots of ideas and resources. We hope you'll think about selecting the heritage topic as part of your next action plan.
Okay, I think you'll agree it's always great to see young people so engaged with their education generally and the environment, but particularly heritage. You can find out more, as Josh said, on the website in the relevant section. Just before we move on to the Q&A, I'm going to ask, I see there's a couple of questions about accessing some of the links and resources. I'm going to ask Lisa Snedden, who you saw in the video and who's really been at the heart of the development of our Heritage, Our Futures, and will be a face familiar to many of you, to just say a few words, Lisa, please, about how people can access the various tools and resources and advice that have been mentioned so far by our speakers. We've covered quite a bit of ground, and if also you can just say to them about how they can get in touch with you and the team. Lisa.
Absolutely. Thank you, Paul. It's been great hearing from everybody today. Thank you very much. So the resources you can access through the Our Heritage, Our Future website, which I think Heather is putting the link up into the chat just now. So that gives contact information on how to get in touch with myself and the team. So if you were thinking about getting involved in one of the projects, please do get in touch. For the Eco Schools resources, they're going to be available through the Eco Schools website. Again, the Heritage will have its own page. That's not quite launched yet. That should be out next week. So please do check back and you'll find all the information there. But like I say, if there's any information that you're looking for and can't find, please get in touch with the team. And again, Heather has got the email address into the chat, and please do get in touch. So I'm happy to then go on and ask the panel again to answer any questions, if that's okay, Paul.
Thanks, Lisa. If I could ask the panel to turn their cameras on and to unmute themselves. And I'll hand back to you, Lisa, then to MC the Q&A session, if that would be okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the first question that we have got in is for Ginny about the place standard tool with your historic place lens. People were obviously asking where can the toolkit be downloaded, which has now gone into the chat. But there's some questions about, could you tell us anything else about other groups that have piloted the lens and how they're getting on with it?
Simple answer to that is no, not yet, because we're still waiting for people to give their feedback. We took the approach that we were kind of make it open access and people didn't have to kind of log that they were doing with us. In hindsight, maybe we should have asked them to let us know that they were doing it, because now it's a little difficult to chase people up for their feedback. But certainly I think what we will be doing is probably extending the pilot session a little bit longer to give more people a chance to get involved as well, because it was relatively short, and I think maybe some people's projects just didn't quite fit in with that time scale, and we're really keen to get that kind of real world experience from people and give everybody a chance to put it through. Also, we're very conscious that on top of delivering a project, having to then get back to us and give us a bit of feedback is probably pretty low down everybody's list, because they're probably just wanting to get their actual thing done rather than get back to us. So not at the moment, but we will certainly be hoping to put together some case studies of people that do use it that would go out with the final version, so that people can look at the different ways that other people have used it and how they found it. Sorry,
That's
that was a
great.
bit of a yes but no answer.
No, but that's great though, and it would just be you've already linked to the Place Standard Tool Our Place website. Is that where the case studies would be hosted?
That hasn't yet been decided, to be honest. It might be, yeah, it might all be hosted on our website and then linked to from the Our Place one. We're still kind of negotiating that with the Place Standard team, so that's TBC.
Fantastic, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So the next question come in is for you, Martin, and it would be thinking about the training that you did. What would be your top tip that you have taken away from the training about delivering guided tours?
Be brave and go for it. The support's there from you and your team, and just the wealth of resources that are out there. It's just brilliant. So I'm still loving looking at all the old pictures on Historic Scotland and Bally and everything. And yeah, that's my big takeaway, how much free stuff there is once you're pointed in the direction, because trying to find it without your help, I wouldn't have found it.
That's great. Thank you very much, Martin. Just checking the questions again. So I'm just reading the questions as we go. I'll maybe come back to that one. So Rachel, the question coming from you is, what is your next step once you have the action plan? What will you be doing next?
So we'll be looking at, we have a sort of, at the end of the action plan, I guess it sort of culminates in a table that we're putting together, which hopefully fits on one A4 piece of paper and has some actions for the short term, which is maybe the next year, and then actions for maybe 1 or 2 years time, and then actions maybe a bit longer term. And within that, there are actions which we think we as an organisation can deliver, either through existing funding that we've got, or sort of just using our current sort of core staff to make links with other people. It will also help us to apply for a couple of small grants to deliver some of the things that came up in the plan as really needed or wanted by the community. We also will be sharing the plan, because especially one of our later sessions with several of our sort of near neighbours, other charities and local organisations, and there are bits in there that they are either keen to deliver or keen to get involved with others who are delivering. So there'll be quite a sharing element there. Yeah, I think that's the main sort of things that we're going to do immediately. I guess we're slightly lucky, like I alluded to before, is that we do have a little bit of money to from our sort of general National Lottery Heritage project, which is mainly got a focus on volunteering, but there are bits within that we can direct in a certain way, which we can use the intelligence that the plan's given us to do that. Does that answer the question?
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rachel. Another question has come in, and I'm going to direct this to Katie, Katie O'Donnell from Keep Scotland Beautiful, who is the communities manager. Just checking that she's there. Yes, she is. So we've got a question about there's potential overlap in what we are doing with other heritage organisations within Scotland. So the question is, what sort of coordination, communication is going on at a regional level to build on this good work?
Thanks, Lisa. Yep, that's a really good point, and something that we're very conscious of. So over the past year, while we've been piloting the various elements of the project, we've been really careful to speak to kind of existing partners, contacts that we already know within the heritage sector, and also making use of our wider networks through Keep Scotland Beautiful, which have a lot of links to environmental and climate-based organisations. So we've, in some cases, we've been able to identify opportunities to work together whereby we can add value to the work of other organisations. So, for example, Archaeology Scotland was mentioned in the chat, and that's one of the organisations we are working directly with. They are going to be one of our next partners for delivering community heritage engagement in the Scottish borders. So there's lots of really nice links that are coming out of that, and we're really conscious of not wanting to duplicate anything and making sure that what we can offer is new and adds value to anything else.
Thank you very much, Katie. So I've just checked through the questions again, and I think that's everything that has been asked. So I'll just hand back over to Paul.
Thank you, Lisa. And thanks to everyone for their questions, both from the quite high level and strategic through to some practical questions about how you can access the resources. I would certainly reiterate the points made about encouraging people to engage with the team and with Lisa and with colleagues about how we can get you involved with the project, but also, as has been highlighted, we're going through almost a development process ourselves here, and we will only improve the quality of the resources and training and materials we have by ongoing and continued engagement. And that's why we're delighted, as Katie has highlighted, to be working with so many different national and local organisations across the country. Okay, if anyone didn't get their question asked today, or they wanted to ask a question, please get in touch. And you can find more information about our Heritage Our Future on our website. You can also use the link that will be in the chat, and you'll also get a follow-up email from us after the event today. To close, I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of KSB and all of you to offer a huge thanks to today's speakers, to Ginny, Rachel, Martin and Liam. We're really grateful for your contributions. I'd also like to thank you all very much for joining us today. I think at its peak we had about 70 people on the call, and it's a huge turnout, and thank you for giving up your time to be with us. As was made, the point was made earlier on, the impact of changes in climate and nature and biodiversity on our environment in Scotland, something that we all value so much, is both visible and invisible, and this project is designed to connect people better with that conversation. And finally, from my own perspective, I'd like to thank the team, to Katie, to Lisa, to Heather, and to the rest of the team who've been involved both in developing our Heritage, Our Future, but in continuing to deliver it and taking it forward. I'm going to bring the event to a close there. Can I please thank you all again for attending, and do enjoy the rest of your day. And with that, it's goodbye. Thank you very much.